안녕하세요 여러분, 저는 러비라고입니다. Hey, what's up guys, it's your girl Robyn and welcome back. And wow, yesterday was a shitstorm for everyone that is an army and or supports BTS. Let's talk about it. So if there are people like me out there that are under a rock or don't really know what's going on, yesterday Big Hit or Hybe Entertainment announced that BTS has chosen to go ahead and serve in the military, which has been a huge controversy, uproar since about 2017 when they started gaining international popularity. And yesterday they announced that the boys themselves decided to enlist and that they will come together as a whole group in 2025. Now, I kind of figured that this was going to happen the moment they admitted their hiatus, because there was two things that everyone was expecting at that point before they had made their hiatus. They had 4 shows in Las Vegas. Everyone was expecting for them to have a world tour. I included. I thought they were going to have a world tour, and I was like low-key saving my money for it just in case they did. Because Lord knows that if they make a Texas stop, I'll be there, like for sure, while I'm still in the country at least. And so when they had announced their hiatus, I kind of knew that that was a sign of them getting ready to do their military service. The reason behind that is because if you look at it, Jin is the first one that does have to go in. He turns 30 in in international age this year. He turned 30 in Korea last year. And now I think Korea is actually going by international age, which means that he turns 30 this year. And the Korea government already had given Jin a year exemption from having to serve, because the Korean government realized how much BTS has attributed to the South Korean government. And literally the biggest showing of that is when BTS announced their hiatus. The Korean government and their economy went once BTS announced their hiatus. And so with Jin, we all knew this was inevitable at this point. And it's been a big talks between the South Korean government and between fans about whether BTS will get an exemption from having to do their mandatory 2-year service, which I honestly thought the boys wouldn't go through with the exemption, because they talk so highly and they talk about on how they're prepared to serve. And I feel like even if the government did give their exemption, I feel like some members would still serve just because of how proud they are to be a part of South Korea and want to serve their country. And so there has been a lot going on within the past few years since 2017. It really didn't really come apparent about Jin's enlistment until about 2019, as literally they were everywhere, dude. And then they were about to do a world tour, and then the pandemic happens, right? Because I suspected that world tour, I think everyone kind of suspected that the world tour that they were going to have in 2020 was to signify them being together for one last time before Jin does enlist. But then the pandemic happened, and the pandemic fucked everything over. And so now with them doing their last concerts in Busan, which are free, by the way, and they've always talked about wanting to do free concerts for their fans, which I think is cute. It literally, one, signifies how big BTS is to the South Korean economy, and 2, how big BTS really is. And I think the government fucked up with how they handled the whole situation, because what had happened, and stay with me, it's a lot. So the South Korean government, for the span of 5 years, have been on and off about whether they should have BTS serve in the military, because a lot of government officials and politicians don't really believe that BTS is the reason why South Korea's economy is so high and so good. And once BTS announced their hiatus, the economy did go down. And what they did is they had military officials, I think, or people that kind of decide whether you have to enlist or not. They went to BTS's concert in Busan. And while they're still trying to go back and forth about what's going on and if they're gonna make the decision the boys were just like, you know what? We're tired of the government like having to decide our future. We'll decide it for ourselves. And Hype had announced a statement that the boys themselves decided that they will serve. And I think that is the most FU thing I've ever heard, because literally this has been going on for the span of at least 5 years, could be longer. And just for them to basically be like, oh, we're tired of having to wait for you to decide, we'll decide for ourselves. I'm like, yeah. So Jin will be the first one to go into the military at the end of this month, I believe, early next month. He's also dropping solo stuff before he leaves, which I think was honestly when they announced that, because obviously Jin had announced that at their first date, because I think they had multiple dates, I can't remember. But when Jin had announced that at the first date, that he was preparing solo stuff, I knew that Jin was getting ready to go into the military. I knew immediately. The moment he said it, I was like, you're getting ready. And a lot of people did believe me when I told them. I was like, get ready, Jin's about to enlist. And they're like, no, he's not. And I was like, yes, he is. The moment Jin had announced his solo stuff, I was like, he's getting ready. And so then I think next will be Yoongi. So we might see another August D album. Who knows? We might just randomly see Taehyung do something. I don't know. So they'll all be back together in 2025, which is crazy to think about because I'll be 27 when they all come back together. And that makes me want to throw up. I'm going to be closer to 30. And that makes me want to throw up, dude. I'm happy that the boys had collectively made the decision to serve, because I was more on the, like, everyone was like, oh, the government should exempt them, or, oh no, they should serve because every other group has. And it was like big talks and big uproar about whether BTS should serve, because they're the first group to ever be even thought about being exempted to serve in the military. So that's like also a big thing in general. And so I was more of the thing of, well, let the boys decide. Like, if the government gives them the chance to be exempted from doing military service, I would still let the boys decide. Do you want to serve or do you want to not serve? It's up to you. Because once again, it is their lives. Literally, the boys decided to do it because they said, we're tired of waiting for the government to decide for us. We want to decide our life path. And so that's why I'm like very supportive of them making this decision. Am I a little bit sad to see that they won't be doing anything until 2025 together? A little bit, but it's something inevitable. BTS is like my third ultimate bias group. My ultimate bias group, no one has gone into the military yet, or no one, not even talks about it. And 2 members have to go in by next year. And so I'm already like trying to mentally prepare myself for that. And I'm happy that they're doing it kind of like as a group, or like all kind of going in at once, because that's what I want my alt group to do. Because I feel like it's honestly, 1, just better for the fans. And 2, the faster you get out, the faster you can go back to doing group stuff, which would be very exciting, because I'm excited to see what BTS can bring out after military service. Because I really want them to do some old shit, like do some hip hop stuff, like you know, probably go a little bit back to their roots. But that's just me. That's just how I'm thinking about it. But I'm excited to see what BTS has in store for us after their military service. I'm also excited to hopefully see a Jimin album. Like, Give. I've been waiting for years for a Jimin album, dude. Give. I will pre-order that the day they announce that shit. Pre-order. I'm excited to see Jin stuff at the end of the month. Obviously, because Jin at one point was my bias in BTS, which every now and then when I say that, it still surprises me that Jin was my bias in BTS at one point. I'm excited to see what Jin has in store, because Jin's voice is really, really nice and very angelic. I low-key can listen to Jin and fall asleep. And I'm excited to see what the boys have in store for us before they leave, because we all know, like, honestly, I didn't even know the concert in Busan happened until after I saw footage of the Busan concert. I was like, oh, that happened? I thought it was like PTDL Las Vegas shit. And I was like, oh, wait, what? Busan? Huh? When they go to Busan? That's how behind I am in K-pop right now. But yeah, I'm excited to see what BTS has in store for us. I'm excited Am I a little sad that they're leaving or that they're all going into the military? Yes, but it's inevitable at this point. Every group has to go through it. And I'm vibing. And I'm ready for Jin to drop his stuff so I could be like, Jin! Let my little Jin bias heart come out for a bit. It's been in the closet for 4 years. But yeah, guys, that is it. If you guys have any questions about BTS or the South Korean economy or government or anything about this whole military enlistment, please let me know down in the comments below. I would love to respond to you guys because it can get a little bit confusing if you're not really up to date with everything. And yeah, I guess I'll see you guys in the next video. Annyeong!